Hi. First I want to start out and ask, how many of you are legally married? Now, when I ask about legally married, a lot of people don't realize common law marriage is a legally binding marriage. As long as all the requirements are met. We'll discuss the requirements here in a little bit. There is going to come a time, unfortunately, when you might need to know this information. Unfortunately, it was when my husband passed away. We were common law married for 6 years. We have a child together. We filed taxes together. But yet, you know, nobody wants to say that we were married. So today we're going to discuss the requirements, the importance, and an alternative. There's three main requirements. The first one is you must both agree to live together as husband and wife. The second one is you must live in a state that acknowledges informal marriages, which is a common law marriage, also known as. And the third requirement is publicly announcing and introducing each other as each other's spouse. Of course, you have to be 18 or older, not be related, and definitely not be married to somebody else informally or formally. Those are common sense, though. The first requirement, it takes two. So come on. It does take two in a relationship, so you both have to agree to live as husband and wife. It does not work if only one does. The second requirement, the states, as far as the states are concerned, a lot of states do not acknowledge informal marriages. But the states that do are Alabama, Colorado, D.C., Iowa, Kansas, Montana, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, and of course Texas, thank God. Some states will still acknowledge the informal marriage if it is entered into before a certain date. Alaska, December of 63. Florida, January of 68. Georgia, January of 97. Idaho, January of 96. Indiana, January 58. Virgin Islands, September 57. Michigan, January 57. Minnesota, April 56. Nevada, March of 43. And New Jersey, December of 39. Ohio, October of 91. Pennsylvania, January of 05. South Dakota, July 59. Utah is April 1987. Wow, some of them are way out of there. Both parties have got to introduce each other, husband and wife, to friends, family, strangers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, whoever you come across. You must say, this is my husband, or this is my wife. There are no laws stating that same-sex marriages cannot happen. So, same-sex marriages have the same requirements. Also, there is no minimum length of time you have to be living together. As long as all the requirements are met, I hereby announce you husband and wife. It's that simple. And of course, the other requirements are just common knowledge. It is very important to know this information in case your spouse passes, like mine did. I didn't know the information. I didn't know there was an alternative instead of coming with all the proof. It's just me and my daughter now, and if me and my husband would have known, we would have totally went with it. But, or, if you choose to get a divorce, it is a legal marriage, so you legally have to get divorced. I'm so sorry about the ums. If there is property, assets, Social Security, heritage, if you just are property, assets, Social Security, you will have to prove that you deserve half of it, or you deserve it. You have to prove your marriage, and it is very, very hard to prove a marriage, a common law marriage, to a Social Security office. You have to convince a judge that you really were married. There is an alternative, and we'll get to that. But proof, if you can include lease agreements that you both have signed, tax records that you filed jointly, large purchases made together, insurance claims, joint banking accounts, or loans made together, or if you applied for government assistance or public assistance, and you put your spouse as spouse with child, that's all considered proof that will be accepted. There are benefits to a common law marriage. For example, you can live happily ever after without the traditional ceremony, but you do have the choice to have a ceremony later on. That choice is always there, that option. There are, however, difficulties in proving a common law marriage. Even with proof and evidence, like I said, you still have to convince a judge or the Social Security office. I'm telling you, I had lease agreements, I had our tax returns, I have our daughter, and they have yet to approve me for our Social Security. It's very, very hard, and the way they make you feel is that your relationship has no meaning whatsoever when you know otherwise. I was with my husband for 6 years, and he just passed away in August, and it's just, like I said, me and my daughter, and the Social Security office will not acknowledge my marriage, even though I had proof and family members vouched for me. I mean, but if I would have known this, you can go down to your local county clerk's office, and for $31, you can file what is called a declaration of informal marriage. It protects you from having, it protects you for you don't have to prove, you don't have to have any of the other proof. That's your proof. $31, it totally beats the $88 you have to have for a marriage license. It beats going down to the Justice of the Peace, all of that. So, I mean, if I would have known about it, I would have done it. My husband too. Well, we've discussed some of it. There's still more out there. There's a lot more to be discussed about common law marriage, and I feel very strongly that if you end up in a situation like I did, it would have helped to know what it was and in the requirements and in all the basics. Look up on it. That Texas Law Help, it helps.